friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Wendy, and today I'm going to go over how I rate my books and what they mean. So as I said, I am going over how I rate my books, and I am going to talk about what they mean and what I give, like the different types of ratings that I do give. And so for me, I personally do half stars, and that is because I find it really difficult to only do whole stars when I'm in between a rating. It really helps me out to just be able to do that half star. So for instance, between 3 and 4, you know, if I'm just not really sure if it was quite a 4 or if it really was a 3, 3.5 really helps me out, and so I will use half stars. So I will go over, starting from 1 star to 5 star, what they mean for me. So really quickly, 1 star for me is usually a DNF. I almost always will DNF a book if it's feeling like a 1 star for me. I will not normally get to the end if it's that terrible. Now, there has been a few cases where I have 1 starred a book because I had to finish the book for a certain reason, and otherwise I would have DNF'd it. So those are what 1 stars mean to me. It's just, I didn't like it. I didn't even want to continue. 2 star for me is usually I really just didn't enjoy it, but it wasn't bad enough that I would want to quit reading it, but I just really didn't like a whole lot about this book. 3 star for me is I thought this book was really good, but it was not a favorite of mine. I really enjoyed it, but I didn't love it. I would suggest it, and other people may love it, but for me personally, it wasn't a favorite. And then 4 star would be I really loved this book. It had so many things about it that were just perfect for me, but it wasn't all the way perfect, and that is why I didn't give it a 5 star. There's probably maybe 1 or 2 things that made it a 4 star. Otherwise, I really love the book, and so that would be why it would get a 4 star rating instead of a 5 star rating. And then a 5 star rating for me is I loved every single thing about the book, and most often my 5 star reads are based on a feeling. I will normally know as soon as I start a book that I have the 5 star feeling. I just know. I don't know how to explain it. I just have to have that 5 star feeling. There are a few cases where I've had that feeling and it didn't turn out to be a 5 star, and that would just be if something in the middle or the end just really let me down. That could possibly drop it, but most of the time I am right with the feeling. And then lastly, I do allow a 6 star rating for myself. And that is because there are some epic books that I have read that 5 star just did not cover for me. And there are some books that I feel like I will just think about for a really long time, that I will rave about for a really long time, that I just had so many emotions and was so excited about that I could barely contain it, and that I just think 5 stars is not enough. Most often, a 6 star read is also going to be one that I'm going to reread. I do not typically reread books, but if they are 6 stars, you can almost guarantee that I'm going to reread them. That would be the ACOTAR series, the Fourth Wing series, and the summer, every summer after. No, not every summer after. Just like, what is it called? I cannot remember. I feel like Just for the Summer? Abby Jimenez's recent book. There are just not a lot of books that I rate 6 stars, and if I did, I most likely am going to read them again because I absolutely love them. So that goes over my ratings and what they mean for me. I know not everyone rates like this, but this is how I personally rate because I have too many books that I feel were epic, that I absolutely loved, that are 5 star. And for me, because I've read so many exciting and really amazing 5 star reads, fantasy, it is really hard for me to give out those 5 stars. I'm very harsh on my ratings, and I think it's just because I have read some extremely epic books. Now, I know for some people they don't like to compare. They especially don't like to compare different genres. I definitely try not to compare genres, but I will say that as far as the writing style goes, I still will judge harshly on that if I have read a book that is just exceeding in the writing styles. And so for me, like, I still can kind of take, and also just the feeling, like there's just nothing like a really epic fantasy to me. I can read a really amazing romance book and it's not going to compare to a really epic fantasy for me, and it's because it's my favorite genre. And so I'm realizing more and more that it is really hard for me to just give out 4 and 5 stars in other genres that are not really my favorite genres. And if I do give a 5-star out, that means it was a pretty amazing book. So I hope that helps. I hope it shines a light on when I go over my reviews, what I really mean when I'm talking about them. Don't be discouraged if you see some 3 stars. You may actually love them and give them a 5-star, but I am just a stricter rater, and I don't give out my stars very lightly because I feel like my experience with reading ACOTAR versus my experience with reading a rom-com, they just don't compare. They just don't compare, and it is so hard for me to give really high ratings for those because I just didn't even have anywhere close to the same feelings that I had with ACOTAR. And I know you're not supposed to compare. Sadly, it's really hard for me not to. So anyway, I've just read some really amazing books like Kristen Hanna, and it is really, really hard for me to not be really strict on my ratings. So I hope that really clears everything up for you. If you are new to my channel, I hope this really helps you going forward to understand how I rate my books. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your week. I'm going to the beach, so hopefully I will get some recording of that next week. But I will see you guys next time. Bye.